Good evening and welcome to the Poets Cafe. It is where artists comes alive. The spoken word brings forth the inner creation of hidden treasures, expressing tones of lyrics that felt within the soul, the vibration that brings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expressions in painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature, sing in harmony, pray for the love of the sky, and dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina, gazing across the stage in a soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCrae. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started. Let's get started, as my brother Benjamin will say. Welcome once again. As you see, I am here alone. My brother left me by myself, but what can I say? He had a good reason. So nevertheless, his presence is here through his spirit and his mind. So all those who are on, thank you for joining in. Thank you for your comments. I know that you will. And thank you for your presence once again. Terry had to take care of some personal business. Nevertheless, he will be back. So we will get started. And let us get started into our daily routine as we normally do. Today's agenda is alignment. And that's so important, alignment, because I want to share something with you shortly thereafter, alignment. How do we define alignment with ourselves, with our health, our neighbors, our communities, our hosts, no matter how you look at it, even life in itself. But I'm going to read something that I have written before, and I have read it to you once again. But since today's topic, the agenda is alignment, and that's so important. So it's important for everybody to think about this word and what does it mean. You can look it up and see how does it connect, because everything has to be in sync, and that's what's important. So I'm going to read this as we get started. Alignment. Align with the universe, charting a journey beyond the limits of imagination, a realm within the cosmic expanse, where endless dreams are limitless. Winds blow in many directions. However, their appearance seems to contradict this, creating the illusion that they only turn in the opposite direction, neglecting their alignment with nature. We are designed to align with a higher power, God, who has set the course for our existence. With the most harmonious feelings of flavors, one cannot perceive any imperfection, aside from another's way of thinking, whether external or internal, regarding the joy one fails to embrace daily in life. How does one ask themselves a question and step back to receive the answer they expect without making any changes? Have you talked to yourself and felt satisfied with the conversation without anyone questioning the motive behind your sanity? Does mainstream interactions and expect behavior provide the answer to your question? Alignment exists without chaos, distractions, or confusion, allowing the membranes of functions to function similarly to parallel happiness. What causes a change in life, whether through how you perceive it or feeling wrong by someone? What steps have you taken to redirect your thoughts, emotions, and actions without the jitters and bounce back? Are you truly aligned with the universe, and how would you engage in the art of conversation to openly understand that life is perfect? Life is perfect. And as you have heard, those who were on line and on this site, this podcast, last week, we had an author, and that author talked about what are the leading causes of life. And that's what's important. And in here, as you heard me say about life, life is in you. What joy are you bringing? What kind of happiness are you bringing? Our author last week, Dr. Thurman E. Evans, MD, PhD, talked about that in depth. And even though we could have went on for another hour or two, but the point was the message that he brought forth to our audience and to ourselves. We often talk about this prior to, because again, poetically speaking, is about how do we engage one another. That's alignment. How do we engage one another? And it starts with self. How do I align with myself emotionally, spiritually, physically? We exercise, we try to eat right, we try to do the positive things. All that is in reference to alignment. But let's understand one thing. For human nature, and even as our guest last week, Dr. Evans, talked about everything was made by God, and everything that was made by God was made to work. The only thing that's out of sync in a lot of ways is us, human beings. We fall out of line. But we have the opportunity to realign ourselves with the positive energy, all that God has given us. Those who seek and understand, who pray to and understand all the wonders around yourself is made to work. The only thing that causes it not to work is self. Self becomes your own enemy, whether how you think, how you feel, what cause you to act the way you do, what brings something harmonious to your life to make you feel good, to say, yes, I'm thankful for what I have, who I am, and as I continue to move forward, I can enjoy each step that I take. That's what's important, no matter how you look at it. So with that, and along that same line, I want to share something short with you. After our session last week and the last couple of days, I somewhat was feeling melancholy. Something was bothering me, right? And I was somewhat sleepless and couldn't get myself together and whatnot, and I prayed and whatnot, and it hit me a couple of days. And what hit me was the fact that I left something out unintentionally. And I'm here to apologize for my error. And we say all the time, we're not perfect, okay? But we try to do what we can to be as positive as we are. And my brother Terry always mentioned about something that Les Brown always mentioned. The old saying is practice make perfect. But I understand something he brings forth that Les Brown also share. Practice makes improvement, which means the more we do something, the better we get. At least we try to do. It doesn't mean that you won't trip, slip, or fall, or make an error in reference to the conversation, the words you say, the things you do, how you do things. That's what's important. But it's being honest with yourself. That's the alignment. How do you line up with who you are without thinking that you're better than, you're out of sync with somebody else? What is life and nature and all of your surroundings? And there's one scripture that, that's written in the Bible. Jesus said to be in the world and not of it. And see, in my opinion, my honest opinion, when you're of it, you're out of sync because you get caught up in the chaos and the mess and all the distraction. Everybody that's seem like they're losing their mind. But when you're in the world, there's an alignment because it allows you to see all around what's happening, where you're going, where you come from, who's trying to do what to you to bring your life and happiness down. And so without further ado, and I don't want to go on because I have a list, and as you know, we only have an hour, but nevertheless, let me get right into my point here. I have read from last week Dr. Evans' bio, and the most important part I left out, and I'm here to say and confess my fault. But I'd like to read this fault and then get into it just a little bit before we continue to go on. The latter part of the bio, which I have realized it's really, and I hope and pray that everybody online and that's watching this podcast think about it. Because what's important is the honesty and to ask for forgiveness, to ask for somebody to say, look, I made a mistake, and be honest about yourself. Now you know that you're being aligned with yourself and aligned with the other person. So here, this is what was left out. At that time, Dr. Evans is married to a lovely Bonetta Jones, a graduate of New Hampshire College. They have 2 sons, Thurman Jr., a graduate of Howard University Law School, and Clayton Ennis, who attend Howard and is a graduate of Chi Institute. I brought that because what's important. Because one of the most important things, being married, this is his soulmate. Now, I'm not expecting because I'm part of the family, I know, but one of the things I have learned and understand, when somebody who's been together with somebody, yes, there's ups and downs and whatnot, but here, when you are with somebody, this is your soulmate. The Bible says, what God has joined together, let no man put us under, which means there is no separation. So I'm a firm believer that this couple was joined together. And when you think about all of us, when you see somebody and your sparkle gets, sparkles in your eyes and you start to approach and this and that, and you get a little giggly, or whatever the case may be. So I'd like to go back, and I stand corrected on this, and I'd like to go back to the time they was in college when they first met, or just when they first met. What was that moment like? And then in the same token, spend years together through ups and downs while he journeyed in and out trying to make a living for the family while she took care of the family, having a child and having 2 sons to come through her wombs to take care of the home, to be there. That's a pillar. That's a strong woman. And I truly want to say I sincerely said I apologize for leaving that part of that platform out, because that's so important. That is crucial. And I would truly say, based on, periodic doing this Sunday school service, Dr. Evans always acknowledged and recognized his wife. Many address her as Lady B, the First Lady. And that's so important. She is the pillar in his life. She has been and still is a platform to help support him as he continued on. And now collectively together, that's one body. That's one body. And most important to everyone who's in a relationship, especially those who are married, understand the platform of who is who, the support, because 2 hands is better than 1. You cannot take anything away from the responsibility of that part of your mate who's trying to help or aid or is there to assist you, because without one, there's a weakness. And matter of fact, I was reading the scripture in short, because again, this is in, and I heard this from another podcast link, and he talks about John 5:30, where Jesus talked about he cannot do things alone. John is saying, I cannot do things alone. I need somebody. I'm just kind of paraphrasing it, but you can look it up and look for yourself. Because Jesus couldn't do things by himself unless he had the Father. Although he was sent here by himself, but he still had the Spirit of his Father with him. We have the Spirit of Jesus with us. We have the Holy Spirit, those who believe, those who follow. And that's what's important. But I don't want to get off track, because I truly want to say the importance of the First Lady, Dr. Evans' wife, the mother of his children, and his daughter-in-law, and his grandkids, the whole family. The whole family. So I wanted to take this time, because that is what was bothering me, and I felt out of line. And to get myself back in line, the Spirit brought me back into line to say this. Mrs. Evans, Dr. Evans, I truly, sincerely extend my apologies for leaving that out, because it's important. And as we always hear, we're not perfect, but we serve a mighty, perfect God, a mighty, precious God, a powerful Lord who allows us to come forth to say, I apologize. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Now, this doesn't mean it was something crucial, but it was important to identify it and to recognize it and to reflect back on it and to come forward. So no matter how you look at it, as a matter of fact, I think that's it. But I truly wanted to take this moment and opportunity to express my strongest and sincere apologies for that. Because again, there's nothing more precious than having a soul mate. Dr. Evans has a soul mate. Mrs. Evans has a soul mate. That is the alignment that God had brought together, and that alignment, those soulmates, that body works, and it's been working for years, and no matter how you look at it, it resonates throughout the whole entire body, even the body of church. I mean, the people in church, all of us, because his message, his word is so crucial to all of us to remind us of being and getting back in line. That's what's important. So again, I truly want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity. So now as we continue to move forward, we're going to get right into various elements of our agenda. Normally, I usually have a piece of poetry, and I want to read this. This is from one of my bookmarkers I put together. And let me read this, because this is important too. African American Freedom Bell. Understand this. Listen to the message. Let us not forget from which we came. Our lives are in the souls of our past. Many have fought and died, and for freedom. Freedom lies in the mind and heart of the soul. Freedom reminds us from the bravery and commitment our ancestors endured. Through some of the most tumultuous condition of time, they sacrifice and fortitude made. The pain hidden and the scars that hangs on the mantle of each footstep that journey through the path of time. O wretched soul, their memories are left in the legacy of future generations to inhale, and their life is a reminder of what their backs bear. That's important. We have this poetically speaking. We talk about poetry, writers, singers, and authors, and all those health and wellness and Women's Month and Men's Month. And as we all know, Father's Day is coming up on June 15th. Terry and I talked about recognizing June, and there's many locations that's also identifying fathers and men. And so we want to say, and I like to say right now, this is what's important. Our ancestors endured things we cannot begin to imagine. Male, females, brothers, sisters, young and old, no matter how you look at it. So we cannot forget what freedom is and what freedom was. They fought for us to have some freedom, and yet, if you think about what's happening in your own community, what you are doing, are you setting an example of what your ancestors had laid out their life for against their own will? That's what's important. They fought through conditions, yet in the same token, they became writers, inventors, and poets, and all kind of builders. Without them, without us, with our ancestors, without the power of God, without the souls and the crying and the hymns that they brought forth throughout their hearts, where will we be? Where will we be had it not been for them? And so even today, as I speak, we should be more harmoniously aligned with each other. We should be helping one another. We should be lifting each other up. And as I said before, Philippians 2 and 3, lift someone else up better than yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that you lift somebody else and they step on you, push you down. Although we have some of them that does it. Believe me, you can help somebody. And I'm quite sure there's many could say that, yes, I helped somebody. They turned around, bent over, picked something up. And you know what that message was all about. Until something happened to them, now they crying and complaining, well, what happened? Well, think about what you did and what you done when somebody helped you out of a situation. But that's on the negative side. That's on the low side. But look at the ones you have helped. And look at the ones who reach back and to help you. Because that's what it's all about. A building doesn't go up being built down. A building goes up being all the elements and tools, the rocks, the mortars, the tools and labors, and this and that and the other that help build a building. We have God, we have Jesus, we have the Prophet Muhammad, whoever you follow. We have the Holy Spirit. No, doesn't matter. It's what is in line to help build you up, to bring you your courage that you holding inside. That's what's important, no matter how you look at it. It's about alignment. And that's the power of who we're supposed to be and how we can continue to move forward. Alignment. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget our ancestors, what they endured. We hear every day what's happening in the streets. But let's change the way you think, change the way you act, change your emotion, and start realizing what life is all about. Alignment. Your life, inside and out, your life. You're centered around the culture, nature, no matter how you look at it. And that's what's important. Mind, Body, and Books. Here's a couple of books I'd like to introduce to you, and we'll continue to move forward. One is here. Then I'm going to read some of the message on. This is Devotion from Loose That Man and Let Him Go by T.D. Jakes. And I just like to read on the back because of the color. I just want to look at it. But nevertheless, let's look at this. Expounding on 5 encouraged life stories of men in the Bible. T.D. Jakes helps you realize that God created you to be free, powerful, and filled with purpose. You can experience deep intimacy with Him. You can become a powerful instrument of His love and reconciliation, both to the church and to a dying world. We have all doubted God. We have all doubted our worth in His eyes and our ability to know Him. This devotional will help only dispel those doubts. It will strengthen your faith in God's love and purpose for you. You may be an ordinary man, but you have extraordinary potential. This is what's important. This month, every day, even though we talk about Father's Day and whatnot, but Terry and I had talked about this month, June. And as I indicated, a lot of other locations are celebrating Father's Day. Every day is a father. Every day, men, you wake up to be a man, to journey through tumultuous times of the condition that we endure today. No matter how you look at it. You know, it's about responsibility. It's about being the strength. It's about being that pillow to endure. Yes, there's a lot of single fathers who raise their kids by themselves. There's a lot of men and fathers who visit their kids and spend time with the kids. But there's one part that I like to put emphasis on, and that is an excuse. There's no such thing as an excuse. Because if you cannot spend physical time with your kids, you can make a phone call, wave, say hello, call on the phone, no matter how you look at it. Because the only thing that child will always remember and will ever remember, and I'm talking about the grandparents and all. Because kids look at the grandparents. It seems like a lot of the kids find more joy in the grandparents than they do in their own close to parent. And I'm saying this out of respect, but out of consideration for understanding. That even if you went by or waved to your child, they see you. Because when a child grows up, become a teenager, whatnot, the only thing a child say, even as a teenager, young adult, or even as an adult, where were you? You didn't spend time with it. I didn't see you. Where were you? How come? They never think about how poor you are, or how broke you are, or how you look. Only thing that matters in a child's life is your mere presence. And what's important is those who are men, those may not be fathered, but those who fill the slot in as assistants, or stepfathers, or uncles, or brothers, or just a neighbor. Did you do something with the kids? Did you spend time? Did you say hello? I'm talking in a positive way. Did you say, hey, were you at the game to see somebody, child that was on the field that their parent may not have been there? I did it. I did it a lot of times, okay? It doesn't matter. Did you show up? You go to these sports games and everything else, you shout for a team that you don't even know the players. The players don't even know who you are. Do they give you money? Do they say, hey, look, can I help you? No, but do you spend time, take that same time and energy to spend with a child in the neighborhood who may not have a father around? And then, unfortunately, with the saddest part of that, a lot of fathers may have lost their lives doing whatever or for whatever reason. That's important. But the bottom line is spending the moment of time in a child's life. Because again, this month is Men's Month. We want to recognize all men. Doesn't matter your situation, go to ditch. We want to recognize all men. It doesn't matter what walls you're behind. The fact is, if you're a father, if you're a man, or you're doing something in the community, something positive, and that's what's important. So again, June 15th is Father's Day. That day we will celebrate as a whole. But every day is a father. Every day is a man who takes the responsibility to do what he needs to do to make a difference in the child's life, in his lady's life, in his family's life, no matter how you look at it. Because again, all those fathers, and many of us, a lot of us, may still have your parents who are seniors up in age. That's important. You celebrate, you spend time with your father, your mother, your grandparents that may still be it. Those are fortunate. Those are blessings. So just like you recognize your grandparents or your parents, your kids want to recognize you in the same manner. All you have to do is just be there, just be present, no matter how you look at it. This other book I have here, as I presented to you before, The Gospel of Good Success. Okay, that's what's important. The Gospel of Good Success by, again, Kirby John H. Carwell. You know, that's what's important. And I'll just read a couple pieces in the back that many have given their forewords to. You know, much more than the dull, ubiquitous how to succeed guys weighing down the shelves at the bookstore. Today, Pastor Kirby John Carwell has given us a detailed and proven road map for how to reach for the best in ourselves and achieve the success God intended for us, spiritually and emotionally, as well as financially, while at the same time helping others to do the same. That's just one section of it, because the whole book is good. I still go back and forth in the book, just like many go back and forth in the Bible or the Quran or the Torah, no matter how you look at it. Many have motivational books and spiritual notes that they receive and whatever. But the bottom line, having those things, are you aligned with the message? Do you understand the message? Do you converse with somebody about the message? Did somebody help lift you up? Did somebody bring joy to you? That's what's important. You see, the art of conversation also deals with the art of listening, no matter how you look at it. The art of listening helps the art of understanding. The art of understanding helps one to realize all those broken pieces that one may think is in alignment, no matter how you look at it. It's about being aligned. And I say this also, and I said it before, and I will continue to say this out of respect to those who have physically lost something. Okay, it's important because they still moving, they still are in line with who they are. You know why? Because they woke up, they're breathing, they're out in the park. Doesn't matter the physical condition of them, but they're out in the park. I have shared in the past, and I'm quite sure everyone at the sound of my voice have heard and seen, you know, somebody in that magnitude, no matter how you look at it. So that's what's important, alignment. You see, so when you pray, you want to be in line with your prayer, with the Word of God, but also you have to receive what He gives you in the time frame and the season that He gives you. It's not about a rushness, okay? It's about being harmonious, being patient, and understand. And while you're doing that, enjoying life in the midst. Talk to somebody, have a conversation, and that's what's important. Music is lit, as Terry always say, and as he always talks about. And we have that. Excuse me 1 second. Let me get myself together. I apologize. while I'm looking for this, again, I continue to ask that you think about everything that I said, everything that I expressed. That's what's important. It's about, again, this platform, this podcast, Poetically Speaking, literature, writers, singers, readers, no matter how you look at it. And Terry always talks about, and the importance for all of us to be able to read something. You may not be that perfect reader, but read something. Even ask questions about what you don't understand. This one I like to read to you, Music is Lit. This is by an old school song, an old group. Those who are, I'm going to say probably, no, I don't want to say 40 and up, but you never know because there's a lot of young middle age people who listen to old school music. So this one is by the Drifters. Save the Last Dance for Me. The Last Dance for Me by the Drifter, 1962. You can dance every dance with the guys who gives you the eyes. Let them hold you tight. You can smile every smile for the man who held your hand beneath the pale moonlight. But don't forget who's taking you home and in his arms you're going to be. So, darling, say the last dance for me. Oh, I know. Oh, I know that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Yes, I know. Oh, I know. Go and have your fun. Laugh and sing. Yes, I know. But while we are apart, oh, I know. Don't forget your heart to anyone. Don't give your heart to anyone. Yes, I know. Oh, I know. Yes, I know. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're going to be. So, darling, say the last dance for me. That's by the Drifters. And that is, and yes, now I'm not a singer, I'm not going to try to sing, and if I read it, I tried to read the lyrics of it. And I was listening to something earlier, and they talk about, I think it was on the CBS News, but they was talking about music. And one of the artists was talking about music, but it's not the music, it's the lyrics of it. And Terry mentions that on a regular basis. It's the lyrics. That's why he reads, and I just read something. It's the lyrics of this song, the message. What is it saying? What is it about? How does it relate to? Is there an alignment in your life to relate to the music? Did something hit you? Has it brought some kind of emotional feelings to you where you was crying and weeping and whatnot, and yet it made you feel good? You get up and dance and shake and do whatever the case may be. That's what's important. Music is lit. Understand the lyrics of it. And I know thousands of y'all out there. I know right now, you probably pull that on, you pull that up, you probably dancing to it. But everything is about life and how do we align ourselves up with who we are to be a more harmonious person, a vessel in society that many who are struggling to carry their load, but can we help them and prosper ourselves to reap the benefit of our blessings? Let me read this thought from Bishop's book. This is important. And I just want to read a little bit of dysfunction is no excuse. In Genesis, the book of beginnings, we find first fight in the first family between the first two brothers. We find our first example of dysfunction. You can hardly turn on a talk show today without hearing people give the justification of their abnormal and often sinful behavior. I came from a dysfunctional family, as if that's supposed to be a legitimate excuse. Oh, the words sound good and they ring true. The excuse, however, is lame. The reasons the word rings true is to us is because we all have a degree of dysfunction in our lives. The reason for the lameness of the excuse is this. We are all from dysfunctional family. Every family had, excuse me, excuse me, have elements of dysfunction to it. We are all the descendants of Adam and Eve, our great ancestors who fell from a state of perfect function. So if any person is able to rise above dysfunction, then all people are able to rise above dysfunction. That's important when you think about it. I say it all the time. Terry and I have a conversation. I have conversations with everybody. Everything, when you think about how much excuse, every time you open your mouth, what is true and what is an excuse? Well, I did this. Well, they. I had a conversation last night with a group of people, some young brothers and sisters, and we was talking about the exact same thing. Well, they don't have this. And the first thing I asked them, who are they? We often say they. Who is they? Ask they to come to the audience. Ask they to come to the mic. And all of a sudden you see people drift and disappear. Well, I don't want to get involved. But you say they said this. Well, who is they? And so when you deliver a message that based on what? Is it true? Is it false? But you don't want to identify. That's being out of alignment. Alignment is that if you hear something, that means you have to be a witness before you can testify. You can't testify something if you're not a witness. And I'm going to say this. Too often people get up in church and saying they want to testify based on, but are you a witness? Are you a witness to the downfall of somebody? Are you a witness to an injury or tragedy or something? Are you a witness to what? That I was poor, but now I'm rose up. I was in a situation, I was bad relationship, but I rose up to freedom. I am somebody. See, where you can talk about things, but are you a witness to anything or everything? That's what's important. You cannot testify unless you're a witness. And I want you to think about it. I don't want you to write in and tell me this and that and the other, but think about it. Here's we had comments. Juanita McClue, if I pronounce it right, and I apologize. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam, my sister. K. Sweetness Jennings, assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. Peace be upon us, absolutely, no matter how you look at it. My best me makes a better me. Amen, no matter how you look at it. That's what's important. Build up, cultivate self. Richard Medley, watching, absolutely, my brother. Everything is important. That's what's important. Because if I'm saying something, I try to instill something positive for all of us. Your comments also helps me. It helps Terry, it helps everybody. Because at least we know in communications, something positive is happening. And that's where the growth of life comes in. That's where the health and wellness comes in. It's about how do we collaborate. As we heard, and those who was online last week heard from Dr. Evans, and I presented on a regular basis what are the leading causes of life. And as I read from T.D. Jakes, he talks about the exact same thing. There is no excuse to live your life and live it at its highest and the best. And living at your highest and best is a journey to climb to that mountain, no matter how you look at it. Climb to that mountaintop. Say, yes, I made it. You can throw your hands up, you can smile, you can speak, you can greet. That's what's important. But as long as you stay low in the valley and you're mad, you're sad, you grumble and everything else, then you bring a negative energy to somebody else. Or if you allow somebody else to bring that energy into your life, your circle, then there's an alignment. Something's out of line. Somebody's out of line. But this doesn't mean that it's direct, intentional. A lot of people are struggling with a multitude of things. Whether it's how do I get myself together, my health, my weight, my career, my future, my life, reading, writing, poetry. That's what a community is all about. How can we help one another? I don't sit here and I don't come here because I just want to sound like I think I'm somebody. I come to present to you and to receive from you. How can we connect? I don't care what town you're in, what union you're in, what state you're in. It's your neighbor. List someone else. Hey, neighbor, how you doing? Hey, brother, what's going on? You know, I remember growing up. You know, males, you know, brother, you say, hey, brother, what's going on? People say, that's your brother. No, it's not my brother. But we recognize each other culturally. Hey, sister, how you doing? You know, have a great day. You look well. You look fine. And in the same token, the brother who tried to roll up on the sister, she said, brother, you know that's not right now. So it's all about being respectful and showing respect. And brother will back up and say, you're right, I apologize. That's being in alignment because you're accepting your fault, you're asking for forgiveness, and you're trying to line yourself back up with the proper way with the proper person and your proper surrounding. Don't wait till tragedy or darkness come upon you and all of a sudden now you're screaming and hollering. You line yourself up. And if there is anything negative around you, line yourself up with understanding what's negative. So you don't have to be pulled into it. You don't have to indulge it. You don't have to keep it company. What you want to do by learning and knowing and understanding it, then you line yourself up with something positive. And as we always say, the art of conversation, something positive, the art of listening, no matter how you look at it. And those who are followers and believers in a higher power, you line yourself up with God, the universe, because that's what the energy is all about. No matter how you look at it, we have to continue to dig and dig and dig and uplift somebody else. You're not digging a hole to put somebody in it by putting somebody down. You see, there's a difference between gossip and gospel. I always say gossip is putting somebody down because you're running with something that you don't have a clue and you won't take ownership of it. But gospel is a blessing because you can say, I helped somebody. I'm not looking for the rewards from anybody or the accolades. I just want to do what's in my heart. That's what's important. Do what's in your heart. And time will also show you you are part of life. You are part of creation. The trees sway, see, because they welcome you. The sun shines. It gives you the energy, the light, no matter how you look at it. The rain gives us water because we need water. We need sunlight. You know, otherwise you become dehydrated. And there's nothing worse than being dehydrated. But there's no reason why anyone, any human being should be dehydrated based on their condition, based on the lack of somebody caring for them. I don't care if they're homeless or look to be homeless. Did you say hello? How you doing? Okay? I ain't talking about those who just want to stand out there and beg. But then the ones who stand out there begging, well, even if you had a short conversation asking, you know, what's the issue? What's going on? Because every one of us have a story to tell and have a story to share. But a lot of us is looking for somebody to help, to heal us so we can heal ourselves. Because everything is not about going to the doctor. The doctor is there to give you a prescription. But what prescription are you receiving? The prescription to help you from natural herbs and spices, to help you to become a better person, or to keep you lingering on prescription that's only temporarily solving the problem. But in the same token, keep this in mind. Every time there's a commercial, there's a new medicine that comes up because based on an issue or condition. And so the commercial, the doctor says, well, take this and you'll feel better. But they also tell you about the 5 side effects. If you feel drowsy, sleepy, this and that and the other, don't do this, don't do that, stop doing that. Those are negative. So there's no alignment there. It's only the illusion to make you think you're getting better. But while you're getting better on one thing, but you're killing other things. As opposed to on the positive side, the alignment in what life has offered, everything is about helping all of the human body, all of your organs to become better, healthy, and to function the way it was given to us. Because everything God made works. Unless somebody, I don't care, the most profound scholar on the face of the earth can prove that everything or anything that God has created and gave did not work. Sure, we can find a whole lot of witnesses. Oh, it didn't work for me, it didn't work for that. I'm still the way I am. It's because of your attitude. It's because of the negative thinking, no matter how you look at it. Ruby Chavez, I hear you. Yes, my sister, my queen. Sister Ruby is a queen because I had the first opportunity for myself to sit on her show and to express my poetry, my books. But that was an opportunity that was given to me through Also Terry co-host, and I sat with him. And it's opportunity. It's about being aligned with the attitude. So Queen Shiva, Ruby, or anybody, all sisters are queen, all brothers are kings. But in the same token, understand your title, your position. Are you a queen to take control and to do and think that you're better than? Or are you going to be there to support and understand and represent the king, the brother? Brother, to be that king, to hold that crown, to sit in that throne, then you have to be the foundation of your community, of your sister, your brother, your daughter, your grandkids. No matter how you look at your parents, and no matter who you look at, you have to be the foundation. Because without a foundation, we have nothing to stand on. A building doesn't stand without a foundation. There's a scripture in the Bible. A building was not completed unless it had the cornerstone. That cornerstone represents, in the Bible, Jesus Christ. Now, that cornerstone could be somebody else who's trying to make a difference. Even with the Prophet Muhammad, who made the difference because he journeyed through tumultuous time to restore the Kaaba. Now, I stand corrected, but that's my understanding as I read the Quran. Okay, I'm not going to say I'm perfect in it, but I do read it. I have understood some of it. But that's one of the things that was profound to me, to have the Kaaba restored. Moses on the Jewish side, who received the tablets, he was in alignment with God. But he became frustrated because when he came back to try to tell the people what he was trying to do based on what God has given him, they was out there partying, doing what they wanted to do. He fell out of line. He was frustrated, but he went back to God. He received his message. He was told what to do. It didn't take away the hard-headedness of people who found every excuse not to be obedient to the cause of life. They complained, the Jewish people, the Israelites complained when they was in Egypt. They cried. God helped them. He brought them into a promised land. Well, not the promised land, but into the wilderness where there was freedom. They complained. They couldn't go into the promised land because they was complaining. They didn't do anything. They roamed around in circles for 40 years instead of taking 2 weeks to go into the promised land. And so this podcast and all of us, when we receive and we present these information that's positive, it's about you to go into your promised land. Do you know your promised land? Has it been designated to you? Or you just continue to journey forward on something positive, waiting for the Lord, for God, the universe, the power of the universe, to say, yes, this is your land. This is your promised land. Because right now, as long as we stay together and connect with each other, we can build a promised land here. Because the promised land is for all of us, no matter where you go. As those who may read the Bible, and this is for all areas. God said to Abraham, as far as your eyes can see, it's yours. The land, as far as your eyes can see. So when you look at and go back and read the 12 tribes of Israel, look at the alignment of those who were in alignment and those who were not. But those who was chosen, those who was out of sync with the alignment of God. That's what's important. We will continue to march on as king and many before him. March on. That's alignment. You have to be in sync. How do we help one another? Continue to help one another. I truly want to thank this studio, the engineer, Jeff, Norm, the owner, and all those who collaborate together to make this podcast all possible. Without them, where would we be? Without the technicians and the audio and the computers and the mic and whatnot, where would we be? Where will our voice be? Before all of this, we had a voice. You still have a voice. But you have to be in alignment with the voices who was weeping in the silent darkness of their past, of their pain. When a baby's crying and somebody's hungry and somebody who didn't have anything was feeding somebody who had less than them, who was starving. Okay, that's what's important, alignment. We have to be in alignment, no matter how you look at it. And so if we take yourself because you think you're better than, you're thinking, whatnot, then you are out of alignment. You may not agree with me, okay, but as long as you're breathing, living, and walking and journeying, you'll see how things come back to you. Because when you put something out there positive, positive things come back. It may not come back in the moment that you think you should have it, but you always jump for joy when that blessing comes, especially a lot of those who may have hit the lottery. But they don't think about all the money they spend to get a lottery ticket. But the moment they hit, yeah, I hit the lottery. I'm thankful for that. But did you really hit the lottery? See, the hitting the lottery, the joy comes when you know you collaborate with somebody else. Even if it's business, a small business, or trying to start a business. It's the alignment of businesses, helping each other, supporting each other. And that's what it's all about, no matter how you look at it. So as I continue to wrap up, I have a couple of minutes, left. We had somewhat of a late start because of technical difficulties and because we had no control over that. That's what happened. We don't know if your light's going to go out. Doesn't mean you didn't pay the bill. It just means that PSNG or whatever public service you have, it could be nature in itself, no matter how you look at it. But what's important is, again, the agenda is about alignment, having the alignment within ourselves, collaborating with others. And that's what's important, no matter how you look at it. So with that, again, I just want to say thank you, and we will definitely continue on this platform, and we thank you so truthfully and honestly for collaborating with us, to coming on to show your support and to pass the word on. Okay, no matter how you look at it, pass the word on. I know that everybody who wrote in and called in or shared their thoughts, that's what's important. K Sweetness, if I didn't mention, I think I mentioned it before, I'm not sure, but even nevertheless, my best me makes a better me, a better we, absolutely. And we make a better you. Because again, if you hold back your hands and keep your hands closed, nothing will come. There's no blessings in it. No matter what you do. You can't eat, and this, no disrespect to those who does not, but I watch a lot of, those links that popped on YouTube or whatnot, and those who were born with a physical part of some sort. They find a way, they make a way to make their life better in alignment with what they have. You have everything, and right now, but what are you doing to be in alignment? So if you have two hands, a leg, a foot, feet, and whatnot, are you helping somebody else? That's what's important. That's the blessing. That's the alignment. Because again, if you take a domino effect, everything rolls. If you take a string, a shoestring, or whatever the case may be, you need both to tie your shoes. If you have a strap or a buckle, you need both. It's an alignment. You take a doorknob and a lock for the door. It's an alignment, no matter how you look at it, because you need everything that you need that you can get your hands on, that's utilized or that's useful, that's going to make something work. And that's what's important. So again, I truly thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that this platform today, this evening, has been beneficial to you in a lot of different ways. So once again, I want to say have a good evening, and thank you for tuning in.